So let's analyze an IELTS passage together. I've selected one passage from Cambridge IELTS 18, Test 2. It's passage 3. So what do we do first? Well, I'll show you how it works. The first step is always to go through the passage real quick instead of looking at the questions. You know, it's important to have this general understanding of the passage before we even look at the questions. Now, how does it work? I'm not saying that you should read the text completely. No, don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to say here is we need to look at the heading, the subheading, if available, and the last sentence of the introduction, or the introduction completely, and the first sentence of each paragraph, each body paragraph. And why do we do that? Well, this is skimming, can give us the main ideas in each part, so that when we go to the questions, we'll have a better idea of where to look for the answers. I'll show you how it works. Right, so the title says An Ideal City. Leonardo da Vinci's ideal city was centuries ahead of its time. Okay, we look at the heading and the subheading, and let's go ahead and analyze the body paragraph. So like I said, the introduction paragraph, if it's really short, you can read all of it. But if not, we can read the last sentence, which is the thesis statement, and then the first sentence of each body paragraph. So I don't think it's necessary to read the paragraph completely in this case. Let's find out. Okay, so it's about Da Vinci's ideal city. Yet far from fading into insignificance, his thinking has carried down the centuries and still surprises today. Interesting. Well, it's not clear to me, so let's read the paragraph completely. The word genius is universally associated with the name of this person, a true man, he spirit, artistic talent, and humanist sensibilities. Okay, that's about this person, Leonardo da Vinci. 500 years later, 500 years have passed. So this is about how old this name is, died in this place. And yet far from fading into insignificance, his thinking has carried. Okay, so his thinking is still surprising people today. So that's about the genius of Leonardo da Vinci so far. And now let's see what this ideal city is actually. The Renaissance marked the transition from the 15th century to modernity and took place after the spread of the plague in the 14th century, which goes rising in some. Okay, so it's about the Renaissance and the 15th century after the spread of this plague. Okay, around this year, after a pestilence that killed half of the population in Milan, Italy, Leonardo turned his thoughts to urban planning. So that's exactly when the urban planning problems are discussed, and that's about around this year. Although the Renaissance is renowned as an era of incredible progress in art and architecture, it is rarely noted that the 15th century also marked the birth of urbanism as a true academic discipline. So this is the birth of this paragraph. This paragraph seems to be related to the birth of urbanism. Of course, that era was the era of art and architecture. It is not easy to identify a coordinated vision of Leonardo's ideal city because of his disordered way of working with notes and sketches. This is the way he worked. So the way he worked with notes and sketches seems to be disordered. Not easy to see the ideal city. Fine. His plans for a modern and rational city were consistent with Renaissance's ideals. Okay, rational city, but in the keeping with his personality, that includes several innovations in this. So this paragraph seems to be about these three words, the four words. The ideals and his innovations. While in the upper layers of the city, people could walk undisturbed between elegant palaces, so people could walk. And streets, the lower layer was the place for services, trade, and transport industry. Interesting. 2 layers. Upper layer of the city and the lower layer of the city. Okay. Elegant places, and down there was these industries and trades and stuff. Although some of these features existed in Roman cities before Leonardo's drawing, there had never been a multi-level compact modern city which was thoroughly technically conceived. So, some of the features existed before, but this is new. This has been new. Compact modern city with multi-layers. Okay, today, it's about today. Those ideas are not simply valid. They're valid. They actually suggest a way forward for urban planning. Okay, interesting. So now I have collected some main ideas from the different paragraphs in this text, and it's time to move on to the questions. What questions do we have? I can see true, false, and not given questions, and complete the summary completion questions. Which one do you think we should do first? Well, I would suggest starting with true, false, and not given questions. Do you know why? These questions are definitely in passage order. That's what we know for sure. In IELTS reading, this is a fact that true, false, and not given questions come in passage order. So 27 is found before 28 and so on. So this should be easier to locate in the text, while these ones are not necessarily in the same order, and they're typically more challenging. So we start with the easiest questions first. Okay, now from 27 to 33, should we start with 27? Well, if the question is clear enough, why not? But otherwise, we start with a question that has something for us to look for, like a scannable word, like these numbers, or name, Ferrara, or if the ideas are familiar to us thanks to our skimming. So we have something about neat and organized record of his designs. Oh, I remember this. Disordered. Okay. Way of working with notes and sketches. So 33. Was he really neat? I mean, were her notes and designs neat and organized? Well, no. His disordered way of working. So that's definitely false. Now, this is good news. Now if we find 33 here in this paragraph, the chances are that these others will be found before. So I'm not going to worry about the second page at all. These names, well, let's find these and we can make our way back. Pienza and Ferrara. We can scan for these names. Oh, I can see Ferrara here. Do we have Pienza? Yeah, we have them here, both. Great. Now let's go back to the question to understand it. And this time, so local people fought against the changes to this and this. They fought against that? These versions of so is there anything mentioned about fighting against that? No. Nothing's mentioned about fighting. So let's write NG, shall we? NG, not given. What about this number, 500 years ago? 500 years ago. 500 years ago, that would be 5 centuries ago. That's people first referred to as genius 5 years. Genius. I don't know. I don't have any evidence. Okay. 500 years ago. Okay. Yes. 500 years have passed since Leonardo da Vinci in his home and died. So what's that? First referred to? No, that's when he died, right? So do we know when they first referred to this person as a genius? No, the word genius is no, this number has nothing to do with it. So we do have 500 years ago in the text, but this is about his death. So we don't know when he was first referred to as a genius. So this is not given. Now, what about second? We have the plague. I remember something about the plague. Here it is, the plague. The current climate crisis is predicted to cause more death than the plague. So we need a comparison between the current climate crisis in the world compared to the plague. Caused the global crisis and resulting in 200 million people died. Today, the world is a climate crisis, yes. It is predicted to cause widespread displacement, extinctions, and death. Okay, we know that these are the consequences if left unaddressed. Okay, but is there a comparison? More death? No, there is no comparison. Therefore, the answer is not given. Now, should we go on, or do you have any better questions? Well, they're all equally good. So let's just go on in order. Like 29, some of the challenges we face today can be compared to those of earlier times. We have today. And then, as now, radical solutions were called for. Radical solutions were called for to revolutionize the way people lived and safeguard humanity against catastrophe. Some of the challenges we face today can be compared to those of earlier times. Well, yes, I mean, as now. As now means there's a similarity. We can compare today's situation with those days. So for now, I could say yes or true, although I'm not really sure. Maybe we find better evidence later. Let's see. Leonardo da Vinci's ideal city was constructed in the 15th century. Really? 15th century. Where's the ideal city? I think the first, okay, here. Began to work on, okay. Would remain unfulfilled, yet given the constitution like today, it's only natural to wonder how. Israel noted that the 15th century also marked the birth of urbanism. That's urbanism. Ideal cities here project. So let's see. This is the 15th century, of course. Yes, but after a pestilence that killed blah 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 blah. Leonardo turned his thoughts to urban planning problems. Following a typical, he began to work on an ideal city project. So, so he started to begin. He began to work on an ideal city project, which, due to his excessive cost, would remain unfulfilled. Okay, so. It didn't work. It didn't actually happen yet. Given the wonder how it might have changed the shape of. Oh, okay. So there were thoughts. He began to think and work on the plan and the project, but it didn't happen. It was unfulfilled, which means it was not accomplished. It was not done. So was it constructed? No. The thoughts were in this century, yes, but was it constructed? No. So the answer is false. Poor town planning is a major contributor to climate change. Wait a second. Okay, given that climate change, poor town planning. Okay, we have. Yet, given that unsustainable urban models are a key cause, oh, okay, key cause, main contributor, key cause, they're the same things, aren't they, of global climate change today. So yes, the answer is true. And there we have all the answers in this part, of course. Moving on, we have Leonardo da Vinci's ideal city. So now, how many words are we allowed to write? No more than one word, remember that. And it has to be from here to the end of the text. Even after that, because this, or I don't know, maybe even higher. I don't know, but let's find out. We have this river. Is it here? I can't see that river name. Oh yeah, here's the river name. So yes, it is likely for this summary to be from this paragraph and the rest of the text. But well, let's skim the summary without caring about the gaps. A collection of paperwork reveals his design of a new city beside blah blah. This was to provide better blah blah for trade in a less polluted environment. Although Leonardo da Vinci's city shared many of the ideals of his time, some of his innovations were considered unconventional in their design. They included features that can be seen in some tower blocks today, such as blah blah on the exterior of a building. Okay, Leonardo da Vinci wasn't only an architect, his expertise in blah blah was evident in his plans for artificial canals within his ideal city. It was also believed, so this seems to be from a separate paragraph, right? Artificial canals, that's the key word. Also, they also believed that the height of houses should be related to the width of the street in case earthquakes occurred. Interesting. Design of many cities in Italy today follow the same, blah, blah. While some cities from old time have aspects that can also be found in other design, his ideas weren't put into practice until long after his death. Okay, this is an example of a city that was designed in the 19th century in a way that, okay, so really no longer seems to be, okay, I get the idea. So it seems like it's summarizing different paragraphs here. So here, first of all, this was to provide better what for trade and less polluted environment. Provide what for the trade and less polluted environment. Easy transport of goods and clean urban spaces. So clean urban spaces means less polluted environment, and we need the other one, easy transport of goods. So easy transport of goods, that's 4 words. Which words should we write? Better, okay, better means easy transport of goods, but we don't have the permission to write more than 1 word, so that's only transport. Moving on, such as blah blah on the exterior of a building. So on the outside of the buildings, what did they build? High-rise buildings, but was unconventional at the time. Indeed, this idea of taking the interior spaces wasn't implemented until the okay. What was that? They include features that can be seen in some tower today, such as on the exterior of the building. Interior was implemented. Maybe here. While in the okay. Towards now, the was extensive hydro plants to create artificial canals. Okay, canals. Okay, well, let's forget about this. We'll come back to that. We'll go back to that later. Artificial canals. His expertise in blah blah was evident in his plans for artificial canals. So something like engineering, I think. What was that? Okay, original was its fusion of architecture and engineering. So architecture and engineering. So that's engineering. In engineering. Okay. An earthquake. Let's find earthquake somewhere here. Earthquakes. Okay. So the design of many cities in Italy today follows his a rule still followed. Okay, a rule still followed. It is something that they followed. So that is rule. This rule. Now, while some cities from times, which times? Roman times, maybe, have aspects that can also be found. Although some of the, yeah, while means although. So while some cities from, although some of these features exist in Roman cities, so Roman times. Okay, this is is an example of a city that was redesigned in the 19th century. We need a city name. For example, okay, is an idea that can be found in George blah 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 blah, blah of Paris under the emperor blah blah between this year and this year. This is the 19th century, isn't it? So that's in the way that London envisioned. So do we have any other cities? We have the city of Paris here. Let's double check. City of the city by function with services and infrastructure located lower. An idea that can be found in renovation of. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm pretty sure the answer is Paris. And finally, okay, his ideas are also relevant to today's world. Today, okay, today the paragraph about today is here. Where building blah blah no longer seems to be the best approach. Oh, build upwards instead of outwards in nature. With efficient transport infrastructure could help others become more efficient and such. This is yet another reason why it was aligned so closely to matter. Okay, so something is bad. Building what is bad? Simply valid, and they actually suggest a way forward for urban planning. Many scholars think that the compact city built upwards instead of outwards, integrated with nature, especially water systems with efficient transport infrastructure, could help. Okay, so building upwards is better than outwards. So building outwards seems like no longer seem to be the best approach. Yeah, so one question is left. 35. On the exterior of a building, so there was something on the exterior of a building. Blocks, tower blocks today. Tower blocks today. So these are not necessarily in order, but the chances of finding this in the same paragraph as Chino, or I don't know, whatever it is, river, would be high. So, okay, design cities, urban, comfortable and spacious cities with well-ordered streets and structure. He recommended high, strong walls, okay, with towers and battlements of all sizes represent beauty. Okay. On the outside, features that can be seen in the towers today, such as blah blah, on the exterior of a building. Let's look here. Vertical, outdoor, exterior. We have staircases, such as the staircases on the. It makes sense. Let me see. Yeah, and this design can be seen in some of today's high-rise buildings. So today, tower blocks today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the answer is the answer. What was that? Okay, staircases. Lovely. So fingers crossed, our answers are correct. Well, I'll read this rule from Roman times. Paris is one of the examples. Outwards, okay. Yeah, they seem to be correct. We'll find out soon. Anyway, now, this is how we approach a typical IELTS passage. In every video I make, I analyze different question types and different passages from authentic IELTS books. So please make sure to subscribe. And if you get something valuable from these videos, make sure to hit the like button. And if you have any questions about IELTS reading or other modules, feel free to write them in the comment section below. Happy learning, and I'll see you in the next video.